hump day. Oh, yes, it is Wednesday, so that means it's hump day. So, is your week going along really nice and you're like, yay, it's Wednesday already? The week's just zipping past. Or are you like other people and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this week is never gonna end? I don't know. I have no idea what's cooking in your neck of the woods, but I can tell you for sure what's cooking around here, and that is the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I am Jeff McAleer. I'm back as your host here at the Daily Dope, as well as happening to be the Grand Poobah of the GamingGang.com. Started about a minute late today. A lot of news, a lot of stuff cooking, and I was putting everything together, and I got down here, didn't have a ton of time to prepare for the show, and sure enough, I do my audio sync test as I do every day before I do the live stream, and I will be damned if it wasn't out of sync. It's weird. So of course right away I look to see is Windows doing an update right now, because it throws it off all the time. But it wasn't, strangely enough. So hopefully this is in sync if you are watching live. And speaking of watching live, there is chat available through YouTube. It is not on screen, so that's how I keep the trolls at bay. But if you'd like to say hello, or you have a question or a comment, feel free to chime in and I will acknowledge it and respond. So today I am going to unbox and take a first look at Renegade from Victory Point Games. This is for 1 to 5 players, and it is kind of a cyberpunkish dystopian future card game where the players represent hackers trying to bust into this supercomputer. So pretty cool. I've got that to take a look at, and that is the latest game from Victory Point Games. So I got quite a bit of news, got a couple of Kickstarters I want to talk about as well. These seem to be good Kickstarters. One I can guarantee is going to be, fine. But got that, got some news. So let's jump right on into things, because my first Kickstarter I'm going to talk about today is from Mighty Bort. And their Kickstarter launched yesterday. They're at about 600% funding as of this moment. I think they're about $180,000. And I must say, they've got an interesting looking post-apocalyptic game, which is on the horizon. And I've got the dope about Post-Human Saga. In Post-Human Saga, you play as one of the last human survivors in a world where nature is reclaiming the planet and our mutated offspring are working to eradicate us. Why, take that with you, Junior. You ungrateful brat trying to eradicate me. Just over a year ago, all you wanted was to find the Fortress, the last human bastion in a region overrun by mutants. Today, you're being sent out beyond the safety of its walls on a journey into the uncharted wilds. There's a dozen survivors for every mouth the Fortress can feed. It's time to earn your place within its walls once and for all. In Post-Human Saga, you'll be venturing into a weird and wonderful world where unknown threats await at every turn of the road. You'll need to forage for food, ammo, and weapons if you want to survive. You'll desperately fight off human and mutant enemies in brutal brawls in which your weapons break and your wounds can lead to mutation. Whoa! You'll meet a cast of strange and memorable characters and find yourself in unexpected situations during story encounters, which force you to make choices that might have consequences down the line. But don't linger long. You need to complete your mission before others do. Your reputation is at stake. Post-Human Saga is a competitive tactical survival adventure set in the post-apocalyptic world of Post-Human for 2 to 4 players. It combines Euro mechanics with finely crafted story to create an experience that will challenge your system-busting skills while immersing you in a rich post-apocalyptic world. I will point out, Mighty Boards has a video, the Kickstarter video is a little over 3 minutes. Give you a much better look at the game, so let's kick back and take a peek.
European economy in sharp decline, political unrest growing in most countries in the bloc. Fortress Europe agreement is signed. Europe liberalizes genetic modification. Leaders herald the move as the beginning of a new golden age for the bloc. Genetic modification becomes a social norm. Crackdown on non-sanctioned modification. Edgar Hollow's No Human Manifesto takes the world by storm. Modificants and activists riot in major cities across the globe. Our last broadcast, modificant factions within the army have turned against the state. The situation is desperate.
The old days weren't all they're cracked up to be. I was just a mindless drone. Now every cell is on fire. Every day is brighter because it might be your last. And no day is like its sister. Last week, for example, I was cozying it up in the fortress. And here I am now at the edge of the perimeter, on the way to the library, an outpost in an abandoned city out in the wilds that we haven't heard from in months. But I still have to march on out there, find the blasted place and figure out what happened to those guys. At least the fortress sends a broadcast every few days to give us an idea of our surroundings. The hard part is finding a signal and getting the operator's attention when there's a bunch of us texting in at the same time. But with some perseverance and a bit of savvy mapping, it's not too hard to find my way. That's not the tough part. The tough part is staying in one piece while finding food, ammo, supplies, and getting to the objective. Just before we left the briefing, they dropped another task on us. Scout out clusters of scavenge sites that could have parts for structural projects the fortress is building. As if surviving out here wasn't hard enough. There's no shortage of weird characters either. They're not all easy to deal with, but with a bit of wits and empathy, I did manage to recruit some company. I'm going to need all the help I can get. That was a close call, but that hammerhand was too clumsy for his own good. I'm battered and exhausted, and I can't stop. My reputation's at stake. And there it is, the library. I desperately need a rest. Well done. You made it to your objective first. Your spot at the fortress is assured. Just one little thing left to do.
I have to say, I am a sucker for post-apocalyptic games. I really am. This does look pretty interesting, and if you pledge your support for Post-Human Saga through the wee hours tomorrow, you will get a special early bird promotional pack, and there's a special promotional price, I believe, on all the pledge levels. So you can get the base game and the promo pack for a $59 pledge. There are additional pledge levels which also include plenty of other goodies, including the first expansion for the game as well. The project does run through June 15th, does have an expected delivery of May of next year, so about a year from now. This does look pretty cool. Price-wise looks pretty interesting. I will mention I believe there are 4 miniatures that are included in the game, and those are actually produced by my friends over at Greenbrier Games. So pretty cool. As far as this Kickstarter, though, all right, so I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from backing this, but the one thing I did notice is Mighty Boards reached out to every well-known shill, and it's like open season. It's like everybody you can throw money at to say that your game's good is part of, has chimed in with a review for this Kickstarter. And no, I am not talking about the Dice Tower, even though the Dice Tower does have a video. But those in the know already know there are a handful of people that if you just toss bucks their way, doesn't matter if you were promoting a shit sandwich, they're going to tell you it's the most delicious meal you have ever encountered. So I was a little leery about that, but okay, so that's that. On the other hand, I played Renegade, which was from Mighty Boards and Greenbrier Games, and really enjoyed it. Didn't understand why there's so many miniatures in it, because it didn't really need miniatures in the game, but I did really dig the game, and I did enjoy it, and I did recommend it. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a good game. Looks pretty cool. I just thought it's weird that they, Mighty Boards brought in all these hacks that everybody knows. They're in the bag. They're in the bag all the time. All right, Smokey's floating around down here. Come here, Smokes. Come on, you gonna come up? You want to come up on my lap? Let's go. Come on, hurry up. I'm in the middle of the show. Yes, I have both kitties down here today. So, and you may have already heard Pinky is chiming in, but she was pretty good yesterday. She started off the show a little whiny down here in the duct tape studios, but she chilled out. But Smokey's just roaming around right by my legs here. In fact, funny enough, the other day, I was doing the show, and I was in a wide shot, and I'm just talking, and I see, as I checked out the video, there's Smokey walking past, because you see her tail just kind of flipping along. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, move right along with the rest of the news. So you say that Ticket to Ride takes too long to play. Do you? Do you really? Personally, I don't think it takes that long to play, but Days of Wonder is going to take care of you if you think Ticket to Ride takes too long to play, because Ticket to Ride New York is arriving next month. It plays much faster, and I've got the dope. Welcome to the Big Apple. Enjoy the sights from Times Square to Brooklyn and all over NYC. Admire the stunning view from the Empire State Building, or take a walk through scenic Central Park, just not after night. That's me saying that. Ticket to Ride New York features the familiar gameplay from the Ticket to Ride game series. Collect cards, claim routes, draw tickets, but on a scaled-down map of Manhattan that allows you to complete a game in no more than 15 minutes. Wow. Each player starts with a supply of 15 taxis, 2 transportation cards in hand, and 1 or 2 destination tickets that show locations in Manhattan and Brooklyn. On a turn, you either draw 2 transportation cards from the deck or the display of 5 face-up cards, or you take 1 face-up taxi, which counts as all 6 colors in the game, or you claim a route on the board by discarding cards that match the color of the route being claimed, with any set of cards allowing you to claim a gray route. Or you draw 2 destination tickets and keep at least 1 of them. Whew. Players take turns until someone has no more than 2 taxis in their supply, then each player takes 1 final turn, including the player who triggered the end of the game. Players then sum up their points, scoring points for the routes that they've claimed during the game, the destination tickets they've completed by connecting the 2 locations on a ticket by a continuous line of taxis, and the tourist attractions that they've reached with their taxis. You lose points for any uncompleted destination tickets, then whoever has a high score wins. Ticket to Ride New York is a standalone game designed for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. I'm assuming it's 8 and up. I did not see any age range for Ticket to Ride New York yet, but regular Ticket to Ride is 8 and up. And of course, as previously mentioned, it will play in about 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $20 and will be available exclusively at Target stores here in the US next month. Nice. Pretty cool. I had to laugh because the box art, the cover art for the box, if you take a close look, so it's supposed to be kind of like 50s. It seems like it's kind of a 50s motif to the game itself, to some of the graphic design for it. with like the buses and taxis and that. But I had to laugh because if you look at the cover artwork, it's almost like it's supposed to be Gregory Peck, Ava Gabor, almost like Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek, and then the Fonz, Henry Winkler. Sort of like, what? I don't know. I think of the Fonz when I think of, well, I mean, it could be, like Guys and Dolls, but it does look kind of like the Fonz going, hey, play this game. So, but $20, that's a pretty good deal. And I have to admit, if you have not been in a Target as of late, or as we used to always joke around, we called it Target, they do have a pretty nice selection of board games. And I am not talking about just Risk and Monopoly and the Game of Life. I'm talking about games that you would actually want to pick up and play. So, pretty nice. I will be looking out for that. And like I said, $20 price tag. That is a pretty sweet deal for a quick game. And obviously, it's going to be pretty portable as well. Well, it's Wednesday, and I usually cover war games on Wednesdays. Don't have anything in the pipeline for today, but I do want to mention, wargamers will no doubt want to take note that the latest release is available right now from Compass Games, and I've got the dope on Blood on the Ohio, Washington's Indian War, 1789 to 1794. Blood on the Ohio Blood on the Ohio presents the late 17th century struggle between a coalition of Indian tribes led by Little Turtle and the nascent American army to determine control of the then Ohio Territory. Known as the Northwest Indian War, Little Turtle's War, and Washington's Indian War, this was the first major challenge to President Washington and his army following the conclusion of the Revolutionary War. Spanning from 1786 to 1795, the conflict grew out of a dispute over territorial boundaries following the war, aggravated by settlers flooding across the Ohio to claim Ohio lands, then in possession of Native American nations. The Miami and Shawnee were the principal tribes involved, but in time they created a loose alliance with numerous other tribes, and together they dealt the U.S. the worst defeat by Indians in the history of our Indian Wars. Washington sent 3 separate expeditions against them. The first 2 were handily defeated. The third and final expedition, led by General Mad Anthony Wayne, ended the conflict with his victory at the Battle of Fallen Timbers in 1794. All right, Pinky, relax. You are awfully loud over there. The design is similar to King Philip's War, published by Multi-Man Publishing in 2010. It's a point-to-point movement using 3 dice simultaneously in battle with variable reinforcements on both sides, special action points, alliances, and treaties, and frustratingly undependable American militia. The American army operates out of forts, the Indians out of villages. Every 2 turns, both players enter into quartering, which is, in effect, resetting the board. Destroyed Indian villages are relocated, while additional forts and settlements may be built as the game progresses. Sorry, Pinky caterwauling over there is kind of throwing me off. What is with you today? Actually, it's almost like she's hiding over off on the side, which is very unusual for her. Although she is a scaredy cat. You look up scaredy cat in a dictionary, there'll be a picture of Pinky, I'll tell you that for sure. But yeah, she's just relax, lay down. It's like she might be getting ready to nap. Maybe, fingers crossed. Anyway, Indians raiding is a quick and simple mechanism that adds color to the game. The action is hardly battle line simple. Engagements are widespread and chaotic with surprises at every turn. 4 scenarios are included, 1 per expedition, with a campaign game that encompasses all 3. Low counter density with quick and tense gameplay, it's simple to learn, Blood on the Ohio is a medium complexity, medium solitaire suitability game for 2 players and plays in about 2 to 2.5 hours. You can order it right now from Compass Games for $46. Seems like a pretty good price. I have to say that a lot of times when war games try to simulate the Indian Wars, they don't usually do it so well. It's a little tough. It's almost along the lines of, oh yes, I want to do a board game about the Alamo. Well, you obviously cannot give the Texicans a chance of winning. So, but this does look pretty interesting, I do have to say. Although I do find it strange that a lot of times I run across these press releases, these new games coming out from Compass Games, and the designs are always like based on some other game or inspired by some other game. And I mean, granted, most designers kind of swipe mechanics from each other. There is no copyright on game mechanics. But I find it very strange that a lot of times these Compass games all seem to be based on some other game from some other publisher. So, don't know. All right, moving right along, I've got some RPG news. And if you're a fan of Knights of the Dinner Table, you probably recall Hackmaster, which was the game that they all play. And then Hackmaster became a real game. And it is I don't want to say it's the latest bundle of holding offering, but it is a bundle of holding offering. And here's the dope. Adventurer, the Knights of the Dinner Table have revived our March 2016 Hackmaster bundle, featuring Kenzer and Company's tabletop fantasy role-playing game, Hackmaster. It's one of the most unusual origins in the hobby. That is true. Originally a parody introduced in Jolly Blackburn's long-running gaming comic Knights of the Dinner Table, Hackmaster has evolved into a full-fledged, serious, semi-serious, fantasy role-playing game. Hackmaster's lavish 5th edition has earned respect from old-school gamers everywhere. Once again, this revived offer, resurrected alongside our all-new Knights of the Dinner Table bundle, with the famous comic strip that inspired Hackmaster, gives you everything you need for your own HM campaign, including all the core 5e titles. Now remember, that's Hackmaster 5th edition, not Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, for a terrific bargain price. For just $12.95, you get all 7 titles in the offer's player collection with a retail value of $57, although that might not be the case. Anyway, it is available as DRM-free PDF ebooks. Hackmaster 5th Edition Player's Handbook, the complete current 400-page 5th edition rulebook, includes the free Hackmaster Basic Introductory Rulebook. There's also the Zealot's Guide, books 1 and 2. These 2 short supplements present new clerical orders and dozens of spells. In the realm of the Elf King and Legacy of the Elm King, not Elf King, and Legacy of the Elm King, one of the best introductory HM adventures, a search for missing children outside a small village near Fandor's Keep, along with its freestanding follow-up, a traditional crawl through kobold-infested caverns in the half-wild lands around the village, plus Hackmaster player resources. As a convenience for our customers, we've gathered many free Hackmaster downloads from the Kenzer & Company website, charts and play aids, reference sheets, and more. If you pay more than this offer's threshold price of $28.86, you'll level up and also get this offer's entire Game Master collection with 4 more titles worth an additional $87. There's the 5th edition Game Master's Guide, a 370-page tome with rules, NPCs, treasure tables, and advice for every situation. Highly doubt it's every situation. The Hacklopedia of Beasts, the massive, lavishly produced monster book that launched the Hackmaster 5e project. There's Fandor's Keep, a lonely military outpost on the creature-infested Borderlands, which is an ideal sandbox to start an adventuring career. There's also Hackmaster GM resources, which are more free downloads that have been collected from the Kenzer website to help the Game Master. And don't forget the companion offer, the Knights of the Dinner Table bundle, featuring the long-running comic. Also, keep in mind 10% of each payment after payment gateway fees for these two offers will be donated to Reading is Fundamental. I am not familiar with Hackmaster. I swear I can almost guarantee that I did an interview with someone from Kenzer and Company at the first Origins I attended for the Gaming Gang. So I want to say, I believe that was 2011-ish, but I don't recall them being a really entertaining interview. No offense. I honestly don't think we used the interview at all, just because it was kind of dry. I don't really know anything about Hackmaster, but there is one thing that I do know, and that is this is a rocking deal if you want to check out Hackmaster 5th edition. The reason is because the retail price, the retail value that Bundle of Holding is indicating is not correct. So I'll give you an example. If you go to Drive-Thru RPG, which I always tell everybody, we're an affiliate, so if you stop by, click on one of our banners at the Gaming Gang before you go to Drive-Thru, because we get a portion of the sale. I noticed that, say for an example, like the player's guide, the player's handbook for Hackmaster is over $30 as the PDF. Same with the Game Master's guide. It's more than $30 for the PDF. So, for less than $30, you can get all of these Hackmaster PDFs for less than it would cost just to get the PDF for the player's guide or the Game Master's guide. So, big savings. Take advantage of it. If you've ever had any interest in Hackmaster, as far as an old school fantasy game, feel free to check it out. Right, so I did mention I had 2 Kickstarters I was covering today, and one of them I could guarantee was solid. It was going to be good. And that's because Monte Cook Games has launched a Kickstarter to bring Shauna Germain's No Thank You Evil back to print. So, as I mentioned, I know it's going to be good. And I've got the dope. As far as No Thank You Evil, it's an award-winning tabletop game of creative make-believe, adventure, and storytelling. In No Thank You Evil, each player creates a character based on a couple of cool, descriptive, imagination-firing traits. The guide, a special role often played by a parent or older sibling, presents a dilemma, and the players set off on an adventure of the imagination. Along the way, they use their characters' special skills, companions, and equipment to overcome obstacles, perhaps fighting a slime monster, winning over the suspicious mayor, or beating a rabbit at a race. Whereas conventional board games constrain players' actions, No Thank You Evil sets kids' imaginations free. I'm free! Their options are limited only by what they can think up. Together, the players create a story as they work together to make their way through the adventure. No Thank You Evil contains everything you need to play, all in a beautiful, sturdy box designed to be easy for children to use. It includes the No Thank You Evil rulebook, Let's Go on an Adventure book, obviously enough, 5 dice, because sharing is hard, character sheets, cards for characters, creatures, and ciphers, as well as game tokens. There's also No Thank You Evil. As far as the setting, it's Storia, the land next door. It's a world seen through children's eyes, home to all the elements of kids' imaginations. Dragons and dinosaurs, fairies and elves, race cars and robots, and all sorts of fanciful creatures. I should say fanciful. I need a sip. I've been talking and talking and talking. much better. Players' characters in No Thank You Evil are kids who have been specially chosen to help save Storia from, you guessed it, evil. No thanks. Accompanied by their companions and their handy I got your backpacks, living creatures that carry the characters' cool stuff in their bellies, characters venture into Storia to save the day. There is a Kickstarter video. It's a very short video. It's about a minute and a half. I do want to point out this video was from the original Kickstarter for No Thank You Evil. So it's just kind of being recycled. So as far as it talks a little bit like playtester pledge levels and that, I don't believe there are any sort of playtesting pledge levels in this reprint Kickstarter. Anyway, but let's kick back. Let's take a look.
I'm Shauna Germain of Monte Cook Games. Our new game, No Thank You Evil, is a game of make-believe for creative kids and their families. As gamers, more and more of us have kids these days. We want to share our passion with them, and they really want to join us at the gaming table. So we've created an imaginative game that families can play together easily. The flexible rules system can accommodate young, new players, as well as older, more experienced players in the same game. So your 5 or 6-year-old can be a smart princess. Your 8-year-old can be a strong robot who experiments with science. And your 11 or 12-year-old can try her hand at running a game. The tiered rules ensure that each of them has a fun experience appropriate to their age, while all playing together. For more than a year, we've been researching kids' games and their play experiences to discover what makes a game engaging and successful for various ages, what causes hurdles, and what makes them want to play again. You can see more below about the research that we did, the flexible rules system we created, and the early playtest feedback from our gamer families. You can also help us improve the game further by backing us at one of our playtest levels. No Thank You Evil will bring your family together for a fantastic experience of creative storytelling, dice rolling, and make-believe.
You can secure your copy of No Thank You Evil, as well as the new B-mail, not email, but B-mail. Taking a guess, maybe it's delivered by a friendly bumblebee. Anyway, you get the new B-mail PDF adventures at the $55 pledge level. That's the base core game and B-mail included with it. If you already own the core game and all those extra goodies that are out there for No Thank You Evil, you can score these new B-mail adventures for a $15 pledge, and you can get the whole shebang of all the No Thank You Evil products, to my understanding, for an $85 pledge. The project does run through it runs through June 5th, and it has an expected delivery date of November. So obviously enough, this is for a reprint of No Thank You Evil, as well as some of the No Thank You Evil products, but I believe it's mainly focused on the core game. And it has won awards. It is good stuff. I got to take a quick peek at a lot of the components from the core game, the core box at last year's Gen Con, and took a peek through those. I did interview Monte Cook, and had a lot of fun. He was really, really nice. I know some people have a beef with Monty. I don't know, whatever. But I have to say, this is Shauna Germain's baby. This is her game. This is her creation. Now, granted, Monte Cook is involved, but this is her game. I have heard great things. If you have kids and you want to get them into role-playing games, you cannot find anything better than No Thank You Evil. I'm not saying that it's the only choice you have for getting youngsters into role-playing games, but I'm saying you're not going to find anything that is better than No Thank You Evil. So, just wanted to share that. Strangely enough, I think it's only at about 30% funding right now. But I think it launched yesterday. But it's a shorter Kickstarter, so it's not a full month. I think it's only running about 20 days. Anyway, did want to say Drew Barbier popped in. He's one of our constant viewers to say hello, and I said, howdy, Drew. in chat. So that is cool. You know, it's kind of strange. Even though I point out there is chat available, and it's not like I'm sitting here going, "Oh, please, everybody watching live, chat." But I do find it kind of funny that sometimes, I don't have tons of people watching the show live. Most people watch the archive stream from it. But I'll have days where there's like 10, 12 people watching live, and nobody chimes and says anything, which is okay. I'm not twisting anybody's arm to get into chat. I just think it's kind of funny. All right. Anyway, so I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Renegade in just a couple of minutes. Did want to talk about what's coming up on Thursday and Friday's show, as well as Monday's show. And I will mention the contest that I got going on that I started yesterday. I'm not going to tell you how you can win, though. So you're either going to have to watch yesterday's episode, or you're going to have to watch tomorrow's episode. Yeah, you know what, Drew? If it came in late, then you may have popped in late. I did point out that, strangely enough, the sound was out of sync, like way out of sync again. So I had been kind of playing around with it, and it looked like it was okay. So, unfortunately, it looks like I'll have to use the video that I've got for the backup video that I'm shooting right now, the recording that I'm doing, and have to upload it later on, because so I can sync up the audio. Yeah, no, hey, that's cool. Drew's saying, I'm just getting in. I'm like, oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, for some strange reason, audio's out of sync. And I test it every day, and for like a week, it'll be fine. Everything's great. And then suddenly, it's always the days that I don't have a lot of prep time when I get downstairs, and that's when it's out of sync. It's like, yeah, great. Show starts in 10 minutes. Now I got to play around with this stuff. Anyway, so I will be fixing that. So I will get that video uploaded. Anyway, so there won't be any chat. So, folks, I'm telling you right now, Drew was here in chat talking with me. You just will not see any sort of kind of like chat replay down the side of the video. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So on tomorrow's show, Thursdays are role-playing game days. So I am going to finally get my review of the Dark Eye role-playing game, the core book, out. And been waiting to get this out there. And I know Drew, who is in chat right now, has played the Aventuria adventure card game. I'm curious if he's played or if he's looked at the Dark Eye core rulebook. Oh yeah, okay. So Drew says, yeah, looking forward to the look at Renegade, and he's like, don't worry about the chat not showing up. I'm not that interesting. They won't miss anything. Anyway, so that's on tomorrow's show, The Dark Eye, and then on Friday's show, I am going to review Remnants from Fireside Games, my friends over at Fireside. And on Monday, now yesterday's show, I took a look at Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I will be reviewing Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes on Monday's show. So what was the giveaway I was talking about? Well, so the giveaway I mentioned yesterday, and I will talk about again tomorrow, is for the limited edition of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So, because I received 2 copies, I don't necessarily need the limited edition. I'm also going to be tossing in the stickers, which, like I said, I don't know if the stickers are a promo or if they are when you buy a book at your friendly local game store, get the stickers. I don't know. They just happen to be in the box with the books. So how can you win it? I don't know. I'm not telling you. You can watch yesterday's show and actually get a good look at the supplement for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, or you can pop in and check out tomorrow's show. I'll mention it again. I just feel weird having to talk about a giveaway every single day. All right, so that is what's cooking on the next few shows. And as mentioned before, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Renegade from Victory Point Games. It's designed by Richard Wilkins with art provided by Clark Miller. The game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in around, the box says 90 minutes. I have heard it could play in about 60 minutes. So let's just say, let's go with 60 to 90 minutes. Renegade is available right now and carries an MSRP of $45. And Drew points out he bought the solo adventure for the Dark Eye RPG this morning. I am not familiar with which one is the solo adventure, because there's a lot of stuff that is for the Dark Eye that is still in German, because the game's been around 30-some years. There's a lot of stuff that has not been translated to English yet. Some has been translated. They're in PDF format. Some has been translated and actually released as physical books. Something I'm going to get into in my review tomorrow of the Dark Eye. But I'm not familiar which one is the solo adventure. So that'd be cool. I like solo adventures. Tunnels and Trolls was real big. Tunnels and Trolls from Flying Buffalo Games was real big on solo adventures. So was the Fantasy Trip from Steve Jackson. Oh, the Vampire of Havana. Okay, I didn't realize that was a solo game, a solo adventure. All right, let's move over to the other camera and let's talk about the game that we're kind of setting up to talk about, seeing that the Dark Eye is tomorrow. Talking about Dark Eye tomorrow. So this is Renegade, and pretty decent sized box, not huge. I pointed out before that I do not have a huge hand. My hands are not massive, but then again, they're not tiny hands either. So, to my understanding, Renegade is a cyberpunk-ish game where the players are all playing hackers, and there's this like supercomputer that's kind of taking over the world. So it is a dystopian future sort of game. And let's get the shrink wrap off before we take a look at the text on the back. I can get rid of some of this glare. So it says, in the world of Renegade, your freedom-fighting hackers must save their fellow citizens by entering the supermassive computer, SMC, computers, plural, I should say, that have risen to control the population. In this solitaire and cooperative game of strategic placement, maneuver, and deck building, you win or lose together while confronting the Overlord SMC Mother and her many devious SMC minions, each bringing its own style of defenses and increased complexity to defeat. The SMC's brutal countermeasures to thwart your hacking efforts can vex your strategic and tactical plans as you solve these shifting defense puzzles in the most cunning Code Warrior fashion. Survive them and your team of hackers can take control, bringing the network down, free more minds among the populace, and claim a victory for humanity over the computers. All right, so, and it is for ages 14 and up. Must be a component thing. So let's open this up here. So we got the rule book. Seems like this box is pretty well packed. All right, so we've got the Renegade rule book. Oh, looks kind of meaty. A little bit of meat to these rules here. So we're looking at 32 pages. So we've got an introduction, then a gameplay overview, talking about the components. So we've got server dice, we have a server die, a partition die, red infection die, black infection die, ice dice. Got the profile sheets, countermeasure cards, SMC cards, command cards. All right. So we've got guardians, we've got sparks, contaminants, installations, server tiles, Looks like we got avatars. I'm taking a guess maybe each of the players has an avatar. Maybe a standee of some sort. Talking about setting up the game. It's like there's quite a bit to this. Glossary terms, cyber warfare weapons. Here we go, the magic rules. These apply at all times. Always add sparks, one at a time. So right here in this red box saying, okay, these are the magic rules. They always take precedence over anything else, I'm assuming. So we got cyber warfare weapons. Winning and losing. Sequence of play. Intel phase, command phase. Okay, we got a nice big example here, talking of Sparks and Guardians. Countermeasure cards. There's a movement example. So obviously, if you're a fan of like William Gibson's works, this is going to be right up your alley. If you dug like Neuromancer, what is it? Bruce Sterling. He was another author. Actually, to be honest, I was usually I believe it was Bruce Sterling. I always dug his stuff more than I did William Gibson's. William Gibson's stories or novels and that were always really, really great idea-wise. Character-wise, I always thought they were a little dry, a little underdeveloped. Sometimes some of the characters were a little too one-note. But, yeah, you gotta say, William Gibson pretty much was the granddaddy of the entire cyberpunk movement. All right, so we've got the Renegades here. Also, we got a few different Renegades to choose from. That's cool. Looks like each of the Renegades also will have, each of these hackers have a special ability. So that's nice. Because a lot of times you'll find, and I've mentioned this before, so for an example, this is for 1 to 5 players. So if there's 5 players, sometimes they'll say, okay, well, here's 5 characters. You don't really have much of a choice. There aren't any leftover characters, whereas this is for 5 players, and we've got 9 different Renegades, although looks like these 2 are a team. Bit of walkthrough. Like the artwork. Artwork looks pretty cool. I want to say it looks like the same artist who did the art for Darkest Night. All right, so there's a big, long example of play. Nice. Very cool. I tell you, a lot of people out there were not familiar with Victory Point Games before they started releasing games in, standard boxes, games that look like, other companies, when everything was, Ziploc bags from Victory Point Games. A lot of people weren't following the company back then, but VPG's always made really good games. So I'm always pleased to see the new stuff when it's coming out. It's like, man, look at these components. Because it was always, the game is the thing. Gameplay is the thing with Victory Point Games. So now their components match the gameplay. So we've got some tokens here. I guess these are server tiles. Looks like pretty well cut. Oh, it's just one big tile. This is just one big tile here. Then we got some other tokens here. Looks like another big tile here. Some more tokens. Now we got the red. 20. We got, these are victory points. Victory point tokens. Alright, so we've got the various different colors, which no doubt represent the various different servers. And it looks like on the back side, it's all a bunch of different colors, and then one solid color. So I don't know if it's you've cracked this server here like this, or maybe that means you've been able to hack that server, because I believe you have to move around these different tiles that are connected. So we got that. Then we got purple. all these different icons on the different colored tokens up here. Then it looks like we've got the various different avatars, the standees for each of the hackers or renegades. Some other tokens here. Nice quality. That's one thing Victory Point Games always has provided, even back from the Ziploc bag days. Were really nice, thick counters. All right, so Drew's chiming in. I believe the single color tiles are the normal mode, and the multicolored ones are difficult mode. Aha! Cool. All right, so we've got that. Then we've got each of the hackers. Looks like they've got their own sheet here. Talking about rootkits. Yeah, you don't want a rootkit on your PC, I'll tell you that much. Not fun at all. Got key codes, action list. Nice. Then we've got some flavor text about the character down at the bottom. So of course it's going to talk about what their special abilities are. But of course it's giving you their available actions. Giving you kind of a key code up top. I wonder if they've got the rootkit info on the back of this one too. No. So, aha! So you, if you take Tilda Sweet, you can't take Tokyo Black. Oh, or maybe what it is, it's just different gender. So, and of course they give the character a different name, but that might be what they're doing here. So we've got Hetty Magnetic. We flip it over. It's the Techno Twins. Got Monty Quantum. Flip it out over. Oh, no. Devin Dex Romeo. I don't know. Well, that's kind of weird. But I do see they're color coded. So we got red, green, yellow, blue, and purple. Although Rupert does not have another character on the back. Alright, so we've got those. Then, got some baggies for the tokens and the counters. It's like a big card here. A couple of dex cards here. And then we got some dice. So we got some custom dice. We already saw some of these are like infection dice, things like that. So they are custom dice, but it does look like they're still just 1 through 6. Yep, they're just standard 6-siders, but kind of cool design to it. Well, VPG could have just tossed in, just regular 6-sided dice with pips. So that's a nice little extra kind of touch for the game. All right, so you got those. See what these big cards are. All right. That's sealed pretty good there. That almost remends. What? Am I not speaking English today? What's going on here, Jeff? This almost reminds me of the hacker from Ghost in the Shell. Was it? I want to say it was Standalone Complex, where it was like the laughing man. So it had a little face. They had like a little sideways hat on. I gotta say though, I mean, if you have never watched the Ghost in the Shell films or the it was actually pay-per-view, a couple, there's Standalone Complex and then there was Standalone Complex Second Gig. Awesome, love them. I am a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell. That's why I found the Scarlett Johansson movie such a disappointment. It was just crap. Terrible. Anywho, but no, I love the different different series of Ghost in the Shell. So I wonder if these are like difficulty levels. So we've got these, like here it's like 1. So it says it's a simulator. Alpha Moby. I don't know. I have no idea. Kind of cool. Oh, Spider. Yeah, we're hacking into Spider-Man's network there. There we go. All right. So we've got these cards. Some pretty good adhesive on that. And now let's take a look at these decks. Yes, and they have a little strip, but I find it's just so much easier. Just use the hobby knife to open up the decks. Because sometimes I pull that little strip and nothing happens. Okay, so that's the one deck there. Let's open up this other deck. And of course, I left my reading specs upstairs. So it'd be a little tough to kind of make out some of these cards. There we go. Let's see if we can find backing on these. Okay, so I have no clue. I have no clue what these represent. But they're all different. There's all different variety. They're not repeating these cards. So we've got, these were gold. Yellow, I guess we'll say, right? So these were all yellow here. It says alert to our presence. And it says what the goal is on the card. It says Clockwork Plague, Double Switch, Kev Code. Once again, this one also says, okay, this is our goal. Knowledge is the price of freedom. That's cool. Nice. Like I said, I know pretty much nothing about this game. I really don't. Like I said, all I know was the players represent hackers who are trying to get into these supercomputers in like a dystopian future. But pretty cool. I especially like the fact that it's all these different cards. These different cards are all unique. Let's see what we've got in here. Looks like these are more of the same sort of cards. What's on the back here? No. Maybe these are almost like mission cards, because I do see it says, fail and success. Or maybe these are kind of like objective cards. So put those there. What was that? Oh, standees. Oh, and then we got a couple other dice. These look like these are just stickers. Not stickers, but it's kind of printed on. This looks like that's standard 6-sider here. What's that? But this has some different icons on it. Different colors too. Cool. And then of course we got the bases for the standees. So we had these cards here almost look as if there's some sort of objectives that you need to tackle. Then we've got, these are commands. And I saw some more of these were command cards. Looks like these are all commands, so put those with those. Looks like these might all be command for the rest of these. Yeah, they're all commands. Okay, so I understand there is a deck building mechanic to this. So let's take a look at some of these cards. So I would take a guess if there's... oh, there we go. Each tarot card is your major game goal. Those tell you how many of each of these cards to draw. And the other cards are sub-goals. Cool, Drew. Thanks. See, that's what happens when you have people watching who've actually been able to look at the rule book for more than, 3 minutes during a live unboxing. So, yeah, all different ships here, or ship, I'm looking at this, ship card. All different cards here. So I would take a guess you might start off with kind of like your starting deck that you have to kind of build upon. Ginger Cool, Adrenaline Surge, Decrypt. It looks like there's quite a few Decrypt cards. I was just about to say, once again, it looks like not a whole lot of duplication with some of these command cards, but then it looks like we're getting into kind of basic actions like Decrypt, Data Scan, Data Steal, Bypass, Focus. Focus, man, focus! So we got those. Memory Steal. Renegade Apprentice. Infiltrate. And once again, these are kind of color coded, so it's almost like, okay, so remember we've got the yellow Renegades. These might be cards that they have more of in their deck than, say, one of the green Renegades. Maybe they focus more on these kind of cards. We got Interrupt, Diversion, cool artwork on each of the cards. Black Hat. What, Black Hat SEO? That's no good. I swear, I almost thought that said erotic software. I was like, huh? And I'm like, oh, exotic. There we go. Then we go. Looks like we've got some more unique cards here. Duality. There's like 3 of those. Most of these fairly unique looking cards look like there's 2 copies of them. Dancing Pig. Cool. This looks very cool. Like I said before, this appears to be something that fans of the hacking aspect of cyberpunk stories will be digging, will be looking for. It'll be right up their alley. So we've got the command deck. We've got these larger tarot size cards, which according to Drew, who's watching, says these are kind of like your game goals. So I believe this is probably indicating how difficult is this scenario for you to complete. So that's that. And then we've got kind of like these sub goals, these sub goal cards, like so, that look pretty cool. And then we've got all these command cards. So quite a lot of cards. Put these on in here. Then we've got the bases for the standees. We've got these 2 dice here that are kind of printed on. Then we've got these dice here, which are cut. Those dice are cut. I'll pop that in there. Then we've got each of the renegades, the different hackers, and pretty much your player aids is what these cards represent. Also tell you each of the renegade's special abilities. Then we got a bunch of tokens and server tiles. And we had the standees for the renegades as well, so we've got quite a few of these. And then we've got the 32-page rulebook. Of course, we got the baggies for your counters as well. And then the 32-page rulebook, and that is what we find when we take everything from Renegade outside the box. And I am impressed. That looks pretty cool. That looks like a pretty cool card game. And watch, I'm probably not bright enough to figure it out. I'll be like, I have to say, was it Infection? I want to say the game is called Infection. It was from Victory Point Games. In fact, they did an app game, which was really good. And it had a real puzzle aspect to it. really cool game. That was a very, very cool game. So anyway, but that's what we find when we take everything outside the box from Renegade, from Victory Point Games. Once again, as I pointed out, it is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. And I kind of get the impression that it's probably a little tricky to learn how to play. That's why it's 14 and up. Plays in around 60 to 90 minutes. It is available right now for an MSRP of $45. I will have a review of that in the very near future. What I've been trying to do is I've been trying to do my best to get most reviews done about 2 weeks after I do an unboxing. It's not always the case, but it is something I am trying to do. All right, so that is today's show. And as I always tell you, when you're not watching The Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. I will be doing... Where did it go? Get over here. I will be reviewing the core rulebook for The Dark Eye on tomorrow's show. So, until then, enjoy your hump day. Yes, Drew's chiming in saying have a great day. Have a great day as well, Drew. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box